Hi everyone, it's Jill Lancet, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, in Sydney, actually in a Sydney suburb called Greystanes. How is everybody? It's Monday morning here. Normally I do this on a Sunday night and post it, but yeah, we've had a bit of a weekend. First of all, Friday I had a little minor surgery, so that was no big deal. But Saturday we celebrated an old friend's 87th birthday, so that was lovely. But on very early hours of Sunday morning, a very dear friend of ours lost her husband. So it's been one of those roller coaster weekends, full of different emotions, and here we are. We've landed on Monday morning. Now, this is going to be a bit of a mishmash, a mashup video, because I've got a few things I wanted to show you. One of the cards I have been working on, and I sell cards to customers and friends and things like this. This is a wedding card that I have been working on. You can see they're not getting married until the 3rd of June, so I've had a bit of time to work on this. I was given, this is from the mother of the bride. This photo was on the invitations, and it's such a beautiful photo. And she gave me the invitation so that I had the details and everything on there. But I wanted to use the photo, and I wanted to show you. There's no way in the world I could film the process of this, because it comes into my head. It doesn't work. I scrap that idea, then something else comes into my head. But I saw this photo and I wanted to gold heat emboss around it. And that's how that started. So I've used products that I've already had in my stash. These big dies were products that I bought years ago, same here. But these little flowers are all punches from Stampin' Up! And there's nothing inside this yet. I haven't actually finished it. But I just wanted to show you, think outside the box. That's computer printed. And this is the beautiful, I forget what it's called, celebration twine. Hang on a second. Hang on, it's here. Simply elegant trim. You get silver and gold in the packet. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with this, but I just wanted to show you, these are old embellishments that I never throw anything out, because you just never know when you're going to need it. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you first. So that's going out this weekend to the mother and father of the bride. Now, the other thing, this is the stamp I used. This is the stamp I used all the way around to the edge. I inked it up with my Versamark, went around the edge, and then heat embossed it. Of course, I didn't want stray embossing powder, so I used the embossing buddy first. And that's out of a new stamp set that's coming tomorrow. And it's this tiny little, I hope that's not too glary. It's that tiny little confetti sort of stamp. And this is called Beautiful Balloons, and it's in the new catalogue. So you'll see that. As of tomorrow, you'll be able to see that in my online store. So that's what I wanted to tell you about that. Here it is. You'll be able to look through that to your heart's content tomorrow. So, yeah, that's out of the way. The current catalogue is sadly ending today. It ends at about 11 p.m. tonight online. There are up to 60% off that catalogue, plus the what's left from the mini catalogue. Now, stocks have run out of a lot of things, so have a backup plan. Write out your shopping list. Start with the item number, because that is actually what you put into the order form online, is the item number. So have that all ready when you sit down, and have a plan B in case those items are not in stock. Okay, so that's that out of the way. Here is my online store. Now this, you can go shop there 24/7. It's always open. This host code ends tonight. So if you're putting an order in today, you can use this host code. I'll have a brand new one tomorrow. And that's pretty much the business out of the way. But this, as I said, it's going to be a bit of a mashup today because of the weekend, how it played out. I didn't have a lot of plans. Plans change around here. Excuse me. Oops. Okay, so I did make a card. Now, one of my the ladies in one of my classes, she is a seasoned card maker, and she showed me this beautiful card. I took a photo of it, and I've based that on this. So, Jeanette, this is for you. I was just mucking around trying to sort of think, what can I make? What can I make? What can I make? So I'm not going to make this card for you, but I am going to show you how I created these grunge flowers and leaves. So I'm going to do that for you first, and then we're going to actually make something together. But this is the Regency Park papers. They're going. They'll be gone by the end of the day, by tonight. Regency Park 6x6 papers. There's some beautiful designs. The front always seems to be florally, and the back is kind of like a generic design. But anyway, that's the paper I used. That will be gone soon. Now, I used one sheet of paper. This is the back side of it. This is the front side of it. So I've cut that down to fit this card front. And then with the strip that was left over, I die cut 3 little squares, and I used, one of the, here it is, one of the Stylish Shapes dies. Now, I call these innies and outies because not only does it leave you with this beautiful stitched edge, and I'm not sure if the camera picks that up, but it also does it on the piece that you're probably going to discard. So if you wanted to make an aperture or a window, it's going to give you that beautiful stitched, might be easy to see it on the back. It's going to give you that beautiful stitched border all the way around. So yeah, just simply 3 squares cut out of this scrap here that was, destined for something else. I used a stamp from the stamp set Something Fancy. I've used May the good you do come back to you. So this obviously will be a thank you card. I've punched out the 3 flowers and some leaves from the, what's this called? Sentimental Park or something like that. If you want to get the stamp set and the punched as a bundle, you've got to do it today because it will end tonight. So I just punched those out. It's all in one punch. There is a stamp that will stamp them out. Haven't got it here. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I got those grungy looking flowers. Now, sometimes, you can make these and keep them in store. Now, I've also used these beautiful iridescent basic jewels. These, I've gotten a lot of mileage out of these. I'm not sure if you can see them. But they're iridescent and they pick up just about any colour they're on. I've put them in the centre of the flowers. I like them because there's 3 different sizes. And I've just put 1 in each square. I've got the beautiful brushed, oh my gosh, here we go. Brushed brass butterflies. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. There's the item number there. It's 158136. So just 1 little butterfly just on the tag. The tag comes from the the Something Fancy die set. It's another beautiful die set. Again, if you want to bundle these, you better hurry up. So you've got 3 different kinds of tags there, and there's several different sizes. So yeah, and they fit these stamps. So that's the stamp set that I've used there. And I stamped that not in black. I stamped that in our new, one of our new colours. It's called Pebbled Path. So it's a good, it looks like it's a very warm, it's a warm grey. So not so stark in the black. But I am now going to show you how to do these flowers and these leaves, and that'll be all that we're going to do on that card. Okay, so I'll just pop this stuff away. So, excuse me. Pop that away. Don't lose my die. Okay, so in this case it was sweet sorbet. But I have a scrap of cherry cobbler, and that's what I used on the wedding card. So I want to cut out the flowers. So as you can see, it's all in one punch. Now I'm not really concerned with the leaf because I don't need a red leaf. I just need the flowers. And of course you can layer these flowers one on top of the other. Now I'm just going to stamp that, punch that, which could be a bit tricky with this thumb, but anyway, there we go. Now for the leaves, I just used a strip of shaded spruce. Oh, gosh. Okay, so see, I'm just lining that up. I'm not wasting by cutting all of the flowers out. So I've just got that there. There we go. And we'll do 3 of those. And I'm just going to show you how I did it. Now, it does take a bit of time in as far as we're going to be wetting these, and so they need to be dry before you can actually glue them on there. So what I'm going to do is, using my silicone mat, I'm just going to put these on here and spritz them with a bit of water. I might just turn that down. It's quite early in the morning here, and my husband's just gone over to pick up our little granddaughter for the day. So, yeah, let's just call this the calm before the storm. So I'm just squirting that with water, and that's quite a lot of water. Now, there's plenty of water left on the silicone mat, so if these silly nails will let me, I will move these around and turn them over so they get water on them. So, yeah, we want them quite wet to do this. And now that we've done that, I'm just getting a piece of paper towel, and I'm just going to blot all that water up. Okay, so now I've got these. And it's simply a case of screwing them up. And I'm actually doing this quite tightly. Now I've screwed that up into a little ball. And I'm just very carefully, I don't want to tear it because it's wet. I don't want to tear it. And that's it. Now you can do it again. You can get lots of little creases and crevices in it. But be very, very careful when you're undoing that. So that's that. That's one. And literally going as hard as I can. And just very carefully opening that out again. Now, if it looks like there's not enough, give it a second go. So there's 2. And you can roll it around and move it around as you're rolling it. Now this is a nice technique to have in your arsenal of things to do, because it's so different. There's stamps that go with this punch set, but sometimes you just don't, you just want something different. Now I'm doing the first of the leaves. And it kind of looks like felt, because we're breaking down the fibres in the actual cardstock. So yeah, it goes kind of fabric-like. And obviously they dry a bit lighter. So now I've done these, I'm actually going to put these aside and show you them at the end, after they've dried, how they turned out. So we'll just screw that one up. But I'm trying to use up all of my designer series paper, so I'm trying to come up with ways of using that up, to make way for the new products. And I've used some of the new products today. So there's that. I'm going to pop them over there and dry them. They'll dry naturally, although it's a bit cold today, but they should dry naturally by the end. So I'm just popping those out of the way over here, and you'll see them at the end. Okay, so that was that little card. We'll revisit that in a minute when that's done. And that's how I did that, just with the punches. And punches are really good because, they don't take up a lot of room. I mean, as opposed to your die cutting machine that you have to get off the shelf and excuse me, and and then clear a space, in my case, on this messy desk. But today I want to make a quick little bookmark. Now I saw Karen Titus, and it's spelt Titus. Now she's an American Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and we are so lucky in our community that we have all of these fantastic card makers and things that share their work. So yeah, I'm just passing that on to everybody. So she made a card with it, and I made a card in our little class to go with that. But as I said, I didn't want to spend a lot of time. Now these are the little bookmarks, and I'll show you how they fit onto a book. They fit in the top corner of the page. The little ribbon with the book shut, and the little ribbon helps you take it out and pop it in. Now, you could make these, use up all your scraps you need. This one is 6 by 6, the whole piece, but you could cut that down to at least 5 by 5. This is for 5 by 5. So it does make a smaller bookmark. It's about 1/2 inch smaller overall in size. So yeah, if you just had a scrap 5 by 5, then you'd be fine. So I made a couple, and I want to show you how I did this, okay? These two cute little fellas are from something out of the new catalogue, and it's called the Zoo Crew. Now here's where I took my 5 by 5 piece. Now I wanted this little guy. I looked to see if I could find one that would fit on a small shape, and in this case it was a square. In the koala it was a circle. So I went through and just sort of put my die over it to see which animal I wanted, and I thought that guy was cute. I also then realised that he was right in the middle of the page. So what I did was I cut my 5 by 5, and that's this piece here. I used it as a template. And once I'd cut it out, I put the die over this little guy and cut it out. Now, I'm going to show you how we create the piece to make the bookmark. Now, I hope I was in camera then. I don't think I was. Here's my 5 by 5. And I laid it, it was on the edge, the very edge of this piece. And so he was the animal I wanted, and he happened to be up here. So I cut my 5 by 5 out, and I put the die over it, and I cut it. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's pretty early here in the morning. But anyway, so I'll just quickly show you these papers. They're called Zoo Crew, and it's out of the new catalogue, which I can't open again until tomorrow. So here's where I got our little koala friend from. I just cut him out of the edge there. But aren't they cute? They're coloured. They're mostly coloured. You've got generic black and white on the back, but you've got all these cute little animals that you can cut out. You can fussy cut them. You can just use them as a background. They're just so cute. So far, I've only bought the paper to try it out to see what I like about it. But, yeah, I like it. I think possibly you'll see the stamps, the dies and whatever else has got to offer in the coming weeks. So there's that. So I'm going to make this now for you from scratch, and you will see just how easy they are to make. So we start with a 6 by 6. Now I'm going to make this 6 by 6 because if I cut this down to 5 by 5, I've then got offcuts that are going to vex me, okay? There are a lot of things that vex me, and having loads of scraps is one of them. So this is now 6 by 6, okay? So I'm putting it in here. I've got my blade, my cutting blade, right out of the way because at this point I don't want to cut it. So 6 by 6, we're going to score this at 3 by 3. So we're going to score this down here. I've lined this up against over here. I've lined this up against the 3. I've got this pushed up as far as it'll go, and I'm going to score that. Now, the designer series paper obviously isn't as thick as the cardstock, so don't go too crazy. Then I've turned it around 90 degrees, and I'm placing that back on the 3-inch mark, pushed it up against there, and I'm scoring it again. Now, you do need your bone folder for this because you really want this to be nice and crisp. So what I'm doing is I'm just folding this over now on the score lines. And you can see them probably better on this side because there isn't such a busy design on the other side. There is such a busy design on the other side. So now I'm turning that around and I'm scoring that again. And if you wanted to, you could score it back the other way, just so that's a really nice fold. So we've got this really nice crisp fold. And now you might be able to see those score lines a little bit better. So we're bringing the trimmer back in because we want to chop one corner out of this. We want to chop one corner. So we're going to cut along there. Now you can use scissors if this would bother you. By all means, use scissors. But I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do it on the trimmer. So scoring blade up the top, out of the way. I can see my fold line right there. If anything else, I can line that up to the 3-inch mark again. But I can see my score fold there. I'm pushing that up, and I can see this score here that goes across. So we're taking a piece out, so we need to cut down here and across here. So here's what I normally do. Along the side of our cutting blade, and indeed even the scoring blade has it, is a little notch, and it's on both sides. Now I can see through this paper guard, and it just so happens I'm actually over the top of it, and I've now just cut down to that score line. So I'm going to continue up. What's happening here? Uh-oh, there must be something stuck in the track. Ah, and there is. Hold on. Hold your horses, honey. Now when that happens, it just messes, it just messes with the blade. But that's okay. I'll trim that off in a minute. So you can see I've cut that, and I'm turning it around the 90 degrees again. I'm finding my score line in the track. I'm looking to make sure it's on the 3-inch mark, and I'm going to go down as far as, what is going on? Don't know what's happening here. Maybe there's a bit of moisture in the air, I don't know. But that's turned out pretty raggedy, but I'll fix that. Just bear with me for 1 minute while I get my scissors. Okay, so that has turned out horrendously, but that's okay. I'm just going to snip the tiniest little bit off the edge. These are going to be tucked in underneath, so you're not even going to probably see those. Oh. So there we go. Fixed. Might need a new blade. Okay, so now we're left with this L-shaped piece. And this is how simple this is. That piece is going over there. That piece is going over there. Now, at this point in time, you'll want to decide whether you want this on the outside or this on the outside. Now, I'm going with this side, okay? So that's going in there. That little bit of fuzz can come off. And then we're going to take this piece that is opposite the piece that we've cut out, so diagonally opposite that piece. We're turning this over. Now I'm just giving that a border that is the same on this side as it is on that side, and I'm just folding that up, just folding that corner up. Give it a good crease with your bone folder. So now when we put this together, this is our bookmark. Okay, so we're going to glue that down now. We only need glue on one side. We don't want to stick it to this because our page won't fit in. So now because mine was so untidy, I need to find the tidy bit. Okay, so what I've done is I've folded this piece over, and I'm just putting a bit of glue down the edges and just that little bit in the middle. And I'm simply closing this one over it. And there we have our cute little bookmark. Now, at this point, you might want to give it a really good crease, just to make sure it's all kosher, all stuck in there. And we've got this configuration now. These two pieces are stuck together, and this corner has been folded up. Simply folded at this stage. So we're going to leave it at that for the minute. Now, the next thing we're going to do is the stamping, and I got these stamps, oops. I got I got these stamps from the Circle Sayings, which is another new stamp set that's coming out in that new catalogue tomorrow. And I'm using this cute little flower stamp here, and I'm using Smile because I want them to smile every time they open that book and they use my little bookmark. Hopefully they'll think of me and they'll smile. That's the theory anyway. So because the paper is sweet sorbet, I'm going to use that. I've got a scrap of basic white here. Now I've set the stamps up on the block already, so I can stamp them both at the same time. Ink on my finger already. Ink. Haven't done anything. So okay, I'm going to ink this up. Now these have not been used before, so I do want to give these a bit of a stamp off on some scrap paper just to see how they are. And the ink pad is so juicy. Oh, it helps if you've got it on the right way. Look at that. Oh my goodness me. Dear oh dear. It's been one of those weeks, guys. I'm telling you. Now, I just want to make sure that's going to be fitting into that again. And I'm gauging that on this black circle. Yep. Okay. Let's try that again. And that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. And then we're going to punch it out with the new 2 3/8 punch that is actually bundled with that stamp set, Circle Sayings. So I hope you can see this. I'm just getting my Stampin' Pierce mat because this is a photopolymer stamp. Yeah, it's good to have something underneath it. So let's just see how that goes now. Hopefully it will stamp better than that one. And that's ironic because that looks like a smiley face, but there you go. Anyway. There we go. I hope that was in camera. Good. Okay. Let's get this out of the way because I've already made a mess with this. So we'll pop that out of the way. And here is our new 2 3/4 punch. Now it's very glary. And it bundles with this set, Circle Sayings. So when it's a bundle, you save 10% on the price of both of those. So that's what I used, and I'm going to punch this out now. Just bear with me because I've got a sore thumb. So I can see through this. When you turn the punch upside down, you can see through it, and you can also, when you think you've got it in the right spot, you can just give it a light squeeze and the cardstock will stay in there until you're ready to punch it. Now, my thumb is very sore, so just bear with me. And there we go. We've got this beautiful circle. Now that is going to go on the front of our little bookmark like this. So and we need to put a ribbon on it. So I've got some of this beautiful, this is also a new ribbon. Comes in a combo duo pack. But this is Petal Pink, and that's Petal Pink there. So we need probably about this much, which translates to about 9 or 10 centimetres. So you'll probably end up trimming it off anyway. So, and our really strong tear and tape. So we want that. So what we're doing is we're going to make the little tab. So just fold it in half, and it's going to go in there. So I want to line this up. So that it's even. And this is how handy, this is why the grid paper is really handy. So it's a little bit not quite to that line and not quite to that line, but I know that's the centre, and I can tell you because I can count them in. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is the centre right there. So I can put a little pencil mark there. I'm going to cover it with the ribbon. So there's my little pencil mark. Hope you can see that. Now, the tear and tape is really a strong adhesive. Now, it says tear and tape, but I've never really been able to tear it, so I just always cut it. So you want a couple of pieces about this long, which is probably just a bit longer than a centimetre. I'm going to pop that down there on that line, and I'm hopefully going to go right up to the edge. Okay, so that's on there now. And where is my take your pick? Who knows? As I said, it's been a weekend. Okay, I'm just using a blade. So I'm just going to lift that. And if you do it from the corner, I always find, like, if you do it from the longer edge, I always find that comes off. So here's our little piece of ribbon. I'm going to lay that down now in the tear and tape. I need another piece of tear and tape. And it is very sticky and it's very strong. And I'm popping that over the top of the ribbon now. I hope you can see that, okay? So when you use tear and tape, it's a good idea to give it a bit of a rub down before you release this paper. Now this might be a bit trickier because it's on fabric. There we go. Now this is the time where you can adjust your tab. So we only need a grab tab. I think I just coined that phrase. So I'm going to trim that off. There we go. There's our little tab. Now, because it's fabric, I'm going to put yet another piece on top of that, but I don't want it to show above there. So I'm just going to put it across this way. So just across there. And I am going to peel this off, and we are going to stick this flap down now. So I'm using some liquid glue, and I'm only putting glue on the flap itself because I don't know how far it's going to go. So if I put across there and down each side, I'm in business. And then just lay that down. So we're nearly finished. We are nearly finished this. So now we've got our little flap. It's going to go over our book, and we need to put this on here. But before I do that, I wanted to colour those leaves in. So I'm using the dark shaded spruce, and I'm just going to use the thin edge. Now, on the markers themselves, they've got a thin line, and then it shows you a picture of the bullet point. The other end is the brush tip, and it shows you a thicker line. So when you pick them up, instead of taking the lids off and going, oh, not that one, just have a look there. So I'm using the bullet end, and literally I'm just putting little dots inside these leaves, just to brighten it up a bit. Little dots or little strokes, whatever you want to call them. And there we go. That was easy. Done. Make sure you put the lids on really, really tightly because they are alcohol markers and they do dry out if you leave the lids off them. So now we've got to get this on here. Now what I always do is, because, you know, I don't want to glue this thing shut. So what I do is, I know that this is as far as I want my glue to go. So I put a bit of glue on there. And I know that this is as far as I want this to go. So I'm putting a bit on there. Now, when I put them down, they will connect and hopefully no glue will ooze out. So this is the time where you want to line this up. And again, your grid papers are really good for this. And glue on this edge, glue on the back of this edge. And I'm going to line this up with the edge of our flap. Because I'm using the liquid glue, I've got a fair bit of wiggle room. And that's it. Now, if you wanted to, you could put, I think in the stylish shapes, I think one of the larger squares will cut out. Is it that one? Yep. If you're using the 6x6 paper itself, the largest one of these will cut out, and you can cut out a piece of basic white and write a message on there and glue that to the back of the bookmark, and they'll have that message every time they use their book. So this is what pulls it out of the book, and we know that's very secure because we've put tear and tape on that. And easy peasy. Now, you could make these very quickly and very easily. Give them out as gifts when you give a book. Or you could sell them at school fetes or anything like that. But, yeah, use up your beautiful papers. Don't keep them. Don't hoard them. I've got to get rid of them all, so I'm thinking they might be donated to my little granddaughter's kindy, maybe for a bit of a fundraiser. But isn't that a lovely idea? And I thank Karen Titus for showing me how to do that. But hers were 5x5, and you could certainly do them 5x5. But why do extra cutting and then have scraps left over if you can just use your whole 6x6 piece of designer series paper? Now, let's have a look how these flowers are going. I don't think they're dry at all. They're not. But when they dry, as you can see, they do have this beautiful texture on them. Now, you could get your sponge dauber and just lightly rub over that with the same colour or a darker colour, and it will pick up the highlights in those creases. If you're really, really in a hurry, you could put the heat tool onto those and dry them. But the texture of them is almost felt-like. But I wanted to make a video today and give you a few different things. So we've got our bookmark. I've shown you how to do these gorgeous flowers. Here is a very simple layout that you can use up some of your papers that you have left over. This is a 6x6. There was very little wastage with that, and any waste that was left over, you could certainly put it on the envelope or in the card itself. And then to make these little squares was quite easy. So something to think about. And I think the fact that these beautiful little iridescent jewels come in 3 different sizes. There's 3 different sized flowers there, and I think that just completes that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm off to get some things done before my granddaughter arrives, because she's 3. It's full on. But thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you on the next video. And don't forget, that sale ends tonight. That catalogue ends tonight. The mini catalogue ends tonight, and if you want to put an order in, here is my store. This is the current host code that also ends tonight. And yeah, look for bargains because they're up to 60% off. And then tomorrow we have our new catalogue. So yeah, have a look at that. Have a pen and paper ready. Item number. Item number is what you need if you're going to place an order. But thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you soon. Bye.